Howdy folks, Craig Lavati here with the Houston Museum of Natural Science and the Beyond Bones podcast. For today's episode, we're talking to Brian and Gemma from the Spring Branch area coffee shop, Cambrian Coffee. You can't miss it. There's a giant T-Rex painted on the outside and there's trilobites inside. Well, not real trilobites, they've been gone for a while, but you get what I mean. Check it out. Hey folks, Craig Lavati here with the Houston Museum of Natural Science, and this is the Beyond Bones podcast. As always, I am joined by my co-host, Kat Havens. Kat, how you doing?
I am good. How are you?
You sound caffeinated.
I was going to say I'm upbeat because I got some really good coffee this morning.
Where did you get coffee this morning?
Where could it be?
From our guests, Brian and Gemma from Cambrian Coffee out in Spring Branch. And guys, thank you for being on the show. It's the middle of y'all's morning rush. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Cool, very cool. And so I found out about you guys through Instagram and some of the artwork inside the shop and even outside the shop, the cool T-Rex mural and all that good stuff. And I was like, okay, I have to go check these people out. Obviously, we're both into the same stuff with, the museum and all of the decor inside. And the first time I went was a few weeks ago, and I walked in, and who did I see before I saw Brian? I was accosted by Sam Stubbs, Mr. Trilobite himself, who donated a lot of the trilobites we have at HMNS in the Paleo Hall. Sam was hanging out over there with a bunch of other old science folks, just chilling, and I'm just like, okay, this is the place. This is obviously where I'm supposed to be today, and I was just surrounded by scientists. It was hilarious. And I got to hang out with Brian for a few minutes and stuff and talk, and my little dog sat on the concrete, and he loved it because the concrete was cold. And I had a few kolaches, and it was just a really great shop, guys. If you're in the Spring Branch area, Spring Branch I don't know, would you guys say it's undergoing a renaissance of sorts?
Yeah, absolutely. That was part of even the initial thought behind our name. The area, as well as the whole Houston area, was kind of blowing up with this growth and explosion, and that kind of led us to the Cambrian Explosion and how it kind of ran parallel to what was going on in this area. Like explosion and diversification of life, it really did kind of fit in with our theme and what we wanted in a coffee shop. But this area is like changing massively. It's such a really cool area anyway, and it's super diverse, but so many people are moving here. It's getting a lot younger in a hurry, and it's a really, really cool area to be at right now.
Yeah,
and
we were just
Gemma,
talking about that, weren't we? That it was very diverse now, Craig, and that
it
was a great area.
I don't want to say it's getting gentrified, but it's definitely it's changing, and there's a lot of people that are coming from maybe inside the loop, like my area, Montrose, and they're going out there and they're staking their own claim and they're building their own stuff. In addition to Cambrian Coffee, there's so many other little restaurants out there now and bars. I have lots of friends that are doing that kind of stuff, and you guys are just down the street from Feegis Barbecue. And my buddy Patrick and his wife, they run all that errand, and you guys have collaborated with them on some of the kolaches and stuff. But so Gemma, you're the geologist, correct?
That is correct.
So and I guess are you responsible for all the stuff on the walls over there?
Pretty much, yeah. Anything that kind of pictorially displays any sort of rock or creature from the prehistoric periods. I will have okayed and made sure that they are viable.
Correct information. Yes, I liked your geological timescale and the little frame with the corners in the middle of the wall. I checked that out this morning because I like timescales, and Craig likes deep time.
Yeah, so, we were very lucky to find that timescale. It's kind of a good one because it's not too overwhelming and like too highly scientific, and like kids love it. I mean, it's got little pictorial images of what existed when, and it just gets people to kind of really have some kind of perspective of when each one, reigned within the entire time scale. So
I'm totally in line with you on that. I write the curriculum here at the museum and content, and I'm always looking for representations that aren't like overly exhausting to look at. So it was very nice.
So tell me, you guys opened up in the middle of the pandemic. You guys opened up in January, and that takes a lot of guts and a lot of willpower to do that. I mean, Brian, you told me, a few weeks ago when I went to go visit, just, the genesis of the shop and how what a leap of faith it was to open up in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah, I mean, opening up a shop like this, it takes years of planning and kind of getting stuff together. We worked on it for about 3 years, and about just shy of a year ago, well, actually just pre-pandemic, we were getting ready to start build out and everything. Because of the pandemic, they actually canceled our Small Business Association loan like last minute, right before they started building. So we definitely had a serious meeting a little over a year ago where we were like, are we still going to go through with this? What are we going to do? And we decided, obviously, to power through. With Houston, as we know, it seems like it's always something, whether it's a flood or it's an ice storm or it's a pandemic. I mean, obviously, there's been a lot of stuff going on lately. So we're like, it's not going to be this. If we wait, is it going to be a hurricane another year? Like, what's it going to be? You're either going to do it or you're not going to do it. So we decided to power through. We had to get a lot more creative with the finances because we lost a massive loan because SBA was obviously helping out existing businesses, not interested in like adding new ones right at the moment. So we got really creative, made some risky decisions, but we went for it. And then it went from a couple year process of like, hurry up, we can't wait to get open, to all of a sudden with the pandemic, we were like, okay, slow down.
Brakes on.
So we were supposed to be open, like almost a year ago, but obviously things slowed down a little bit. We wound up opening right at the first of the year. We still proudly have 2020 on our logo. We want people to know that we started this during the pandemic. We'll be very proud of that even years from now when people see that, like, oh, wow, you started in 2020 and you made it. So, but no, we started in mid-January, been open for about 7 months now. The people have really made it. It's been, I think because we opened during the pandemic, people were even more inclined to support us. We obviously we've changed stuff like weekly, depending on what's going on with local and state and federal guidelines. But I think we've done our best to keep everything safe, and so far have been doing really well. So if we can make it through that, we hope that's the worst they could throw at us.
Yeah, I love that. My daughter was
both of y'all.
Sorry, I'm interrupting. No, I was just going to say my daughter, who was home because of school during the pandemic, actually became probably more of a coffee connoisseur during that time and more patronizing of any kind of coffee shop that was open. And she said that she checked your place out and that it was really cool. And that's the 18-year-old set. So you're doing something really, really well.
Oh, thank you. That's really nice of you to say. We use a local Houston roaster for our espresso and our drip. And then we also bring in all our other beans are from guest roasters we bring around the country. We change them every few months. We try to have the best fresh beans, bring some really interesting things to the market, make them in the best possible way. And we're really proud of our coffee. A big draw is Gemma's Baked Goods. If you've heard her accent, she's from the UK originally. And you mentioned the kolaches, we call them sausage rolls, Craig, okay?
Okay, well, I mean, there's also the school of thought that those aren't kolaches, that those are called snacks, and that those are that. And no, I get it. No, I guess it's funny. I've written about that at length. There's such a divide between even the word kolache, because I'm Czech, and growing up, kolache meant a pastry. It meant like, the sweet pastry with like cream cheese and cherry or whatever in it, or coconut. And then and I think maybe when I was a kid, when kolaches, as we call them, like you can get like, donut shops and stuff, when those became more of a thing, they were called kolaches. And I remember my grandmother going, that's not a kolache, that's a pig in a blanket. And then it was like,
that's what we called them.
Pig in a blanket doesn't sound as cool as sausage roll or kolache. Kolache almost sounds a little bit, I don't want to say exotic, but it's like, ooh, kolache, like what is that? And that was one of the first things I had with you guys. I remember I bought like 2 of them, and I was already full from just like all the coffee that you gave me. And I ended up eating the sausage rolls, Gemma, when I got home later that day, and it was really good. It was well worth the wait. it's really it's as a coffee connoisseur, if I can call myself that, it's hard to find a place that has good food and good coffee. And you guys do both of those things, and then obviously you have the prehistoric Cambrian decor.
Yeah, it's an interesting mix mash. When we decided we wanted to do this, we obviously wanted to serve great coffee, but at the same time, we weren't interested in just opening up just another random coffee shop and have someone else do our baked goods. We had a pretty big investment of both money and space in our kitchen, and we don't have a door to our kitchen. So you get to see all our stuff back here. You can see all our cups and all our storage, but most importantly, you can look back there and usually see this one in the back baking. We want everybody to know we're baking everything fresh in here every day. We make everything pretty much from scratch, and we wanted a reason for being. If you're with her from being from the UK, having a really good touch with the sausage rolls and the scones and stuff like that. We actually had no idea if the sausage rolls would take off at all. Luckily, like Texas with the whole kolache culture, like we're used to eating like meat wrapped in pastry for breakfast. So it was a pretty easy transition. Now, I will say we've pretty much pulled every single British, Australian, South African person in Houston in here to try the sausage rolls, and they've given us the seal of approval, luckily. But then, other than the regular original sausage rolls we have every day, every week we change out the second one and we do like a special of the week. So those are the ones where we get to have a little bit of fun and kind of a little Texification on it. Like right now, this week we're doing Cajun. You mentioned we did the Feejus barbecue brisket one, the collaboration with another Spring Branch business. We like to do stuff like that. But that's where we get to do some fun stuff. Now, some of the Brits that come in are like, okay, jalapeno cheese, some of the crazy flavors, maple chili, but
Maple
honestly,
chili was my favorite. Maple chili was awesome.
Yeah, that's definitely everybody's favorite. That one does really good when it comes out. But yeah, even the British people eat it as well, and they say, okay, maybe we can cheat a little bit, go away from the mainstream. But they've been popular. We're very, very lucky.
What's your favorite? What's your favorite of all of your vast different kinds of sausage rolls? We are going to ask the baker. What is your personal favorite?
I think for me, I might still like the original. And I'm weird. Like we serve them warm, but I like them cold. So I like them go cold. And then, I'll eat it. And I still seem to amaze myself that I've managed to make something that I could buy back home. I was like, wow, this
I'm with you on that.
I could have got it back in the UK.
Okay.
I think are we the weirdos that like when I go to Buc-ee's if I'm traveling, I go get kolaches from them or whatever they call kolaches. And I'd always get them to microwave it because they always warm them up for you. I get them to do it like halfway because I like that little bit of congealedness, if that sounds normal. So I don't mind them cold. And Houston is such a go city, and having something like that is so easy to eat in the car. Yeah, and it's just perfect. And especially for your neighborhood.
Although Brian was saying the other day, because it's flaky pastry, we do wonder if some people are just looking down on themselves and just seeing crumbs everywhere.
You can always tell
it's a good kind of flakes.
Sausage roll. Yeah, you can figure out someone's first sausage roll because when you bite into it, it does kind of explode sometimes. You have to learn how to eat it properly out of the package. It's kind of like the drippy bear burger sandwich leaning over the table, But no, once you got it down, you just have to inhale it. There's a science to it. Okay,
I'm going to have to practice then so I can get the science down, which means I have kind of figured out my driving route now from home to the museum, and I can make it to you guys with just adding about 10 minutes onto my drive. So I'm going to have to
leave earlier now. Leave earlier.
Well, that's what I'm going to do.
There we go.
Yeah. It's worth it.
So it's funny. We said that there's obviously you have the jalapeno flavored ones, and it's sort of they're British derived pastries. That's sort of the history, I guess, of Houston too. Is that we're a mashup here of different cultures, to where you could go to a coffee shop in Spring Branch next to a really cool taco truck and get a British influenced sausage roll and awake all day iced coffee. There's something magical about that, and that's a Houston thing, I believe.
Yeah. I just want to know how popular jalapenos are to the British? I can't imagine very, right? Usually.
No, I don't. I don't even know if you could readily find a jalapeno in a British supermarket. If I'm honest,
I know. I figured as
they've
much.
got we've got like Thai red chilies, but thinking back, I don't think you would go and find like a whole big bin of jalapenos that you would be able to sort through. We don't really have them.
Or like a jar of like the pickled ones, like the ones you would put like on nachos at a little league game.
Well, because we don't do nachos either. We don't. It's
That's
hard
true.
to actually find tortilla chips. We don't have the runny cheese, as I like to call it.
The runny cheese.
I know. If you understand why she's here now, okay?
Yeah, I do. I mean, queso is a food group.
That have original flavored Doritos. They're just corn chips, and they do have ranch, but they call it Cool American.
Oh. Which one of y'all, I know I think it's Brian. I already know the answer to this. Who is the coffee nerd?
That kind of is me, I guess. I was really into craft beer, and then I hit my 40s, and I'm like, okay, I'm to get into something that allows me to be just as nerdy, except maybe a little bit better on my waistline. So it's very easy to gravitate toward coffee instead. It's still a beverage, and no, it's like anything else. You can immerse yourself in and go as deep down the rabbit hole as you want to. You start once you get a good taste for coffee, it kind of ruins you for anything else. And then you're trying different methods and buying these crazy different pour overs from different countries, and you're buying crazy specialty beans, small batch things, and you kind of fall down the hole. But really, a lot of it was like just what coffee stands for, as far as like being a beverage that like almost everybody drinks. And everybody drinks it differently. Some drink it black, some, tons of cream or sugar, some ice, some hot. So, but just a very universal drink, and something that almost everybody has in the morning to like power themselves about their day, So it was more about just sometimes it's not even about like the coffee, how great it is. It's more about the situation in which you're having it and maybe who you're with. That can go a long way as well.
Yeah, coffee, it seems to be a social lubricant, and also because some of us cannot exist without it. Talk to actual other people, so we need it to become.
Yeah, we're very lucky that. We're lucky that at the shop. I mean, we have a lot of responsibility. We're just like a small cog in a much bigger wheel of the whole machine. But our purpose, we think, is we're often the first people see in the morning. They may roll out of bed and we're the first people. So it's very important to us to like get people off on a good start.
Be positive and
and with the coffee and also with our attitudes. If you're having a bad day, you better suck it up and smile, because you've got a big responsibility to send some people off to work. So it's
ages
great.
ago, I worked at a coffee shop, and I'll tell you what, in the morning, you just had to smile. Sometimes there were some crabby people who would come in, but you would hand them their coffee, and immediately you could feel it start to kind of lift away from them just when they saw it.
Yes.
And
that's a great feeling.
Yeah,
we have people that are going into hospitals to go work. We have people that are heading up, all kinds of great charities and stuff that do work out of this place. I mean, I always tell the team, I'm like, we can't do great things every day, but we can power the people that are doing great things.
Yeah, you're right near MAM. You're right near Memorial Area Ministries, which I've been very involved in for many years. Yeah, that's awesome. That is so cool.
So
and that's the thing. Sorry, Craig, I'm interrupting you again. It's my job today. I noticed that when I got there, like there were a lot of hospital workers, medical workers there. There was already somebody working away on the computer, just all kinds of different little microcosms going on. And I thought, I'm an observer. I thought that was really cool.
It's neat. Sometimes we have people come in, they become regulars, and they're working on the computer, and we have no idea what they're doing every day. And then after a while, we're like, what do you do, by the way? Like one guy was like head of like a human rights camp, like a massive human rights campaign.
Wow.
Finding out the stuff he's into. It's like, oh my gosh, like we're very lucky that we can provide a space for people to do this awesome work. It makes us feel fulfilled. Like I said, we're just a tiny little cog, but we're just trying to do good things.
And who knows what might happen there, what idea might be born, or what good thing. And I mean that. I think that is amazing.
Yeah. creator spaces.
Who did the mural outside? There's, if you guys haven't been yet, and you guys, after you listen to this podcast, you will be going, and I promise you better. And there's a big giant mural on the side of a dinosaur. And I took a picture of my dog. He's, sort of hanging out under the dinosaur over there. Who did that? Like, how did y'all, what was the idea, to get that big mural out there?
Well, this building was brand new. There was nothing here before it. And Spring Branch, like you said, is like changing massively, but we don't have a ton of art. We don't have a ton of murals and cool like stuff like they do downtown. So we're like, we got this huge white wall on the side. Tons of people can see it. There's nothing on there. And initially we're like, oh, we'll put like Cambrian Coffee or something. And then I'm like, no, we don't need like a massive advertisement. We want something kind of more interactive that still plays with like the science idea, but something that, even if we're not here in 20 years, like can still be a part of Spring Branch. So we didn't make it like a glaring advertising for us. So we went with a big T-Rex skeleton that's kind of like roaring down, so you can kind of pose with it. Like you said, some people have their dogs there. Like some people are like feeding their kids to it. Some people are just giving it like a drink. And we got a little geology too. We got some like little strata volcano going on. So it kind of fits in with the rest. And it's going to hopefully be a really cool landmark for a really long time. And definitely lets people know there's something sciencey going on. That's one of the cool things, like with all the decor and like our fossil wall back there and everything else like that. You never know who your customers are going to be. You can kind of put out the good vibes and the kind of thing you want, and maybe it'll bring the kind of people that you want in. And we've been very lucky, like you said, you get a lot of cool sciencey people in. You get some really, really brilliant people, create some really awesome, great conversations here. And you never know who you're going to find. There's some really awesome people, including people from the museum, people that have donated stuff to the museum. It's been great.
Yeah, how did Sam Stubbs find you guys? Does Sam live in the neighborhood?
I think he just showed up one day. So I think there's also his buddy that was here a couple of weeks before him, and I think they were supposed to come together, and one jumped the other. But yeah, they both ended up being here, and they definitely, they see the trilobite wall, and they make sure to tell us that, technically that's not a Cambrian trilobite.
Of course.
and technically, and I think Professor Stubbs pointed out that T-Rexes didn't exist in the Cambrian, which is like, yeah. I know. That one's for the kids.
It's artistic license, Sam.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
We know Sam. We love him.
A lot of the creatures of the Cambrian, they're not exactly the sexiest looking creatures either. Of like the entire geological time scale, it's not the prettiest looking things.
No.
Kids don't want to pose next to a trilobite. They want to pose next to a T-Rex.
Yeah, maybe they want to pose next to both.
Sorry, Sam, but it's true. But I think we're having Sam on the next few weeks here, so then we'll give him the business about that, and then he should donate some trilobites to you guys just to have sitting around. I'm sure he's got a few to spare.
I mean, we certainly wouldn't say no. I think we have. There's a couple of other geologists that have almost seemed to have adopted us, and every time like they come in, they bring me a rock. So I've actually got a little rock collection that's also started from people bringing me different things. I think the one gentleman bought me a piece of the rock from near Enchanted Rock. It's got blue quartz crystals in it, which I personally didn't have any of that.
That's cool.
They definitely like to put it in my face and quiz me and go, "What's that?" What's that?
People bring me bones, so I don't know who's luckier. I get weird bones sometimes just left on my seat in my office, and I'm like, oh. That's strange.
Gemma, is there a big scene of geologists in Houston? I know with the oil and gas industry, where there's a lot of geology people here. So, I mean, is there like a geology community that you're tapped into?
Yeah, I mean, the oil and gas scene, as much as, it's a worldwide scene, I don't think a lot of people outside of it realize how small it is internally. I mean, it can be less than 6 degrees of separation as to people that working in different oil companies.
Mm-hmm.
I myself still work for a small service company in the oil and gas industry. So as well as running this place, I do that on the side as well. And so, there's definitely, people come in here and, they can appreciate that, whilst there aren't any direct oil and gas ties, like, it's that basic geology element, geology 101 of things that they were learning back at school that, just kind of tapping them into that nostalgia. So it's, it's definitely, especially with us being here near the energy corridor, that definitely pays off as well, I think.
And you also, and you give, there's, you know, some other coffee shops don't have anything for kids to look at or for kids to be sort of edified with, you know, to learn something along the walls. And at least there they can. Like if mom and dad are on the phone or, you know, doing like work, like you were saying, they can at least look at the walls and go, oh, wow. They, you know, it's,
Oh,
I was
yeah,
going to say,
we've had, you know, some of our friends' kids are basically trying to learn the time scale. They're trying to memorize that geological time scale, and you know, every time they come in, they pick a bit more from it. And then Brian has, I say Brian has, there's a couple of Lego dinosaurs that we have in the shop, and people think that we got it for the kids. No, I bought those as Christmas or birthday presents for Brian over the last few days.
It's like Craig, you found your soulmate.
Yeah.
I was going to say,
I'm actually very lucky. I found someone that, you know, wasn't directly related to, you know, the geological industry, but has got a passion for it and learning about it. So
Definitely.
And I love all your stickers, and all your stickers and buttons are all, I don't know if I have a sticker over here somewhere. I may have already put it on one of my cups, but it's all trilobites too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have some pretty cool.
We were able to, I mean, fortunately, Mr., you know, former salesman here, he's very good at with, that kind of marketing side of things. And, you know, we designed that logo around the trilobite, trying best not to make it look like a cockroach or a bug.
Right.
We got
That's funny.
it's a lot of feedback we got over the development of our logo. And, you know, if you know what it is, you know what it is. If you don't, you think it looks a little bit odd, but, you know.
Like a roly-poly over a cockroach. I prefer the roly-poly.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm looking at the menu here, and I think my favorite thing, I think last time I was there, I had the nitro cold brew, but next time I go back, I'm going to get the Cambrian Explosion. And guys, the Cambrian Explosion is their version of the red eye, and it's a large drip coffee with a double shot of espresso.
Ooh,
so that is like
that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a Monday morning drink. That'll get you going. One of the cool
Craig's
things when you get your own coffee shop is you get to name your red eye. Everybody has a cool name. Some people call it the Johnny Cash. You know, you can call it anything. And obviously, the Cambrian Explosion was too easy to pass up.
It's perfect.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think the place by my house has the iced antidote.
Oh,
the antidote. It's sort of like the antidote to anything bad that's going on.
Yeah, exactly.
I immediately get that. Splash of lavender because I'm fancy and I'm good to go for the rest of the day. So it's guys, I was going to say, it's really cool to talk to business owners that, you know, have sort of gelled with the community, and also to now, you know, there's science there too, and that's just perfect and up our alley. And it was funny. I walked in and I kind of felt like it was like a little satellite office for the museum of sorts. I was kind of like, oh, this is what I'm used to every single day anyway. So it was cool, and especially, you know, having Sam there and John there at the same time was just really special. So we need to start doing some collaborations with you guys. I don't know if we could do. Yeah. We'll try to do something.
Museum for a long time, so.
And we need to, because you guys are close on
museum with the way that it's laid out. That's the one thing I think I do appreciate, like starting from the Precambrian and walking all the way through. Like, it's just the best way to get people to appreciate, you know, evolution, how things developed over time. And I think that's probably, it's one of the best displays I've seen of, you know, walking through the different eras. So
and how it's not static, it's all interacting with one another along the way
and then even back to the oil and gas industry. I was talking to someone, I think it was just yesterday, talking about the you know, the upstairs floor, and that from what it was when I first moved here 13 years ago to what it's obviously now become. I mean, I thought it was great before anyway, of being able to tell people this is what the oil and gas industry looks like, but now it's amazing.
It's the energy playground.
Yeah.
And
even the amount of, like, that's what I was talking to someone about the other day. It was just like their kids loved it.
Oh, yeah.
Loved it and got a real appreciation for, you know, what that was. And it's just good to see that it's not all just dinosaurs and rocks and, you know.
Well, for some kids too, it's also cool to see what their parents might do for a living.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, because I've seen dads walk through the Weiss Hall, you know, like, you know, big burly dads that you wouldn't expect, that they can actually start showing off things that their kids do, and they sound so proud. You know, they can actually show their daughter or, you know, their son, yeah, this is what dad does every single day. Dad makes this thing explode, and dad does this, and it's just really cool to see that connection there.
Yep.
In the old iteration, I used to be housed underneath the fracking gun.
Oh, wow.
And so it would go off like clockwork.
Oh my gosh.
Yep, it was above my head.
Awesome.
Well, I know you guys are closed on Sundays, so you guys need to come up on a Sunday, and I'll give you guys the run of the place, and you guys can do whatever you want. You can everything, but you can't steal any butterflies. That's the one rule that I have. You cannot take any butterflies home, but you can hang out and stuff. I know that as a small business owner, you guys definitely need some time off. So come visit the museum. We'd love to have you guys. Cambrian Coffee is the coffee shop. It's at 9461 Hammerly. You can Google that. You can go check these guys out. They're right in the middle of Spring Branch. It's a fun new place. Cambrian Coffee. You can't miss it. If you can't miss the giant dinosaur on the side of the building. It's right there. You should want to stop anyway because you love coffee and you love taking pictures like I did. I'll post some pictures up later on of some of the stuff that I experienced over there. But Brian and Gemma, thank you very much for checking out Beyond Bones. And we should, guys, I have an idea. Can we record an episode up there one day?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, we'll get that done when all these variants start burning off. We'll come up there and we'll have our own little studio in there, and we'll check it out up there, and we'll drink all the coffee.
I'm coming by for a kolache pig in the blanket sausage roll tomorrow. That's what I'm going to call them.
Can you buy multiples, or is it only like one or two at a time, or can we buy like a dozen?
Oh yeah.
If there's a dozen in the case, you can have them.
Yep. Absolutely. We make them.
Right.
We make them as often as we can, as much as we can, and we sell every single day.
I think last Saturday we sold 135.
Before
my
11.
gosh.
Before 11:30. Yeah.
That's a lot of bacon.
Kat, you need to bring sausage rolls to the whole museum.
To the whole museum. Okay.
We'll get started now.
There we go. Help out Brian and Gemma. Let them know.
Yeah, I will do. But no, I'm definitely coming to get one tomorrow.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. I'll let you guys get back to it.
Awesome.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Thank
Take care,
you.
guys.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.